Hey everybody, I'm Jamie Lucht and I'm here with Matt Campbell from StoneX. We are here in Emmitsburg at Iowa Lakes Community College doing our market update today and wanted to touch base with you after our market outlook, since this is when everybody's going to be seeing it, is afterwards. What were your thoughts on the crop report that we got this week?
Well, it wasn't a good one for corn. The yield number obviously is going to have a sticker shock component, but after the growing season we've had, it's, somewhat believable. I think the market digested that, but the acres component was the thing that took everybody by surprise.
That was the surprise I wasn't expecting.
No one expected that. I mean, it's an unprecedented change. You're just talking about Rob Peter to pay Paul. Corn gained a ton of acres, beans lost them. So it did kind of change the dynamics of the balance sheet. The corn, unfortunately, now going forward, no matter what the USDA does with yields in the next few reports, it just isn't going to have a big impact on the bottom line. But the bean numbers are the opposite. A little bit of a tweak here in yields, potential for China to come in. You just don't know what that export program looks like. That could still materially change the bean balance sheet. And so it's not necessarily bullish today, but the what ifs are plausible and could have an impact on things.
Yeah. So maybe we've put our floor in on beans with the change in acres?
It feels that way. One thing that's been just crazy about soybeans this year is Nova beans have been in about $1 range from start to finish. We have not deviated from about $9.70 to $10.70. And then right now, maybe we're not going north of $10.70 without something else, but it feels like the low sides are kind of in place as well.
Yeah. So that tees up my question for you really well. Where do you think we should have offers working for new crop corn and beans?
Well, corn's tricky. I think that over the next 45 days is when we look back at history, some of the other big crop years, that's a time when we do place some lows. The question is, what are those lows? Nearby futures, these futures have gotten, exactly, where do we rally from? So 350, 360 is where we've seen other years with this kind of an outlook, so to speak. What I also would say is that what was taken off the table in this report was that potential move toward the $5 mark. I think you're now looking at realistic sites at 450 would be your kind of upside cap. So offers staggered up to that point. That's maybe not going to be a D's corn story, but it might be some March or May at some point down the road.
And one follow-up question to that then, are there any maybe not necessarily price targets, but are there any sort of like calendar targets or news articles news events that we may want to be watching? If this happens, then and we get some sort of a rally, should we be selling something off of that? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Good question. And that's a tricky one too. The corn side, there's a lot of it's a heavy balance sheet. We almost need to continue to see strong demand, or else it gets even more of a problem. Yeah. One thing I will say is that normally when you see your seasonal lows, it is going to take place, sometime in the fall, and then you usually will see something as we go into the South American growing season that should start to put some premium in place. So you hope that rally has taken place by Dec, Jan, Feb, or something like that. Sure. As far as the news cycle, I think it's going to be more focused on soybeans. I think obviously with the trade war, we pushed back the deadline 90 days. That's going to push us into early November before we might see what a trade deal might look like. Those are the kind of things that might be more, headline events for the soybean market.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and as always, thank you for coming up and presenting to our farmers. We appreciate your knowledge and your expertise.
Always a good time.
Thank you.